So I run a company called ASAC. Uh, what we do five things. I run certain courses on topics on mostly STEM based topics, science, technology, engineering, and math. And these courses are uh, they are run in a storytelling format. So what we do is we make certain stories around each of the course and deliver our content in a very engaging format to the students, so that uh, you know they would really like to come to our classes. So for example, this is a data analytics course, but the way data analytics and data science concepts are presented to the students in this course is through stories of Sherlock Holmes, right? So we have converted many stories of Sherlock Holmes, where Sherlock Holmes and Watson solve mysteries by using data analytics. Similarly, um, there's a course on data structures and algorithm, uh, delivered in a very engaging format through a story of a wizard in a village who solves problems using data structures and algorithms. There's a course on AI and functional programming using Lisp, called the Alien Code. And there are many such programs that we have as our courses. So, for example, this course is run for the Department of Defense in India. We train cyber warriors for Indian Defense Forces who go on to make actual cyber weapons for the nation. So these are some very unique courses that I have. Uh, uh, Indian Defense is a client of mine. Microsoft is a client of mine. Google, Facebook, Apple, Barclays, Wipro, Infosys. So I run these programs for the world's top companies, Forbes 100 companies. So, for example, if you see the Microsoft program called Engage, you'll find that worldwide this program is actually run by ASAC. So if you all the Engage programs for Microsoft is all run by ASAC. What happens with the Microsoft Engage program is Microsoft conducts uh, 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 talent hunt programs across the globe before hiring for various teams. So they would hire for their AI teams, or they would need to hire for their uh, uh, Bing team, or any other, even their non-technical teams sometimes, like for their program management team or for their GSMO team. These are non-technical teams, and these are technical teams. So what we do for Microsoft is we will organize programs like hackathons and conventions, which are very uh, big in scale, almost uh, in each event, some 10,000 to 12,000 participants will participate from across the globe. We will run programs for for Microsoft, which could include hackathons, programming competitions, conventions, wherein we'll throw some competitions at the participants. We'll ask them to build working prototypes based on challenges that we give them. So, for example, this program just concluded on June 17th. This convention just concluded on May 31st. Over here, uh, participants will asked to actually build prototypes on certain problem statements that we designed and we built, we orchestrated for Microsoft, and participants joined in huge numbers during the event itself. So these programs last for 30 days, 45 days at a stretch sometimes, and we'll conduct workshops also for these participants. So many participants would already know programming, for example, or AI or ML topics, but there'll be many who would be new to these subjects. So we will organize these workshops for them, train them on these topics through our courses like these, and we will get them ready uh, to uh, to to be able to participate in these large scale competitions. Through these competitions, then the participants will be evaluated, and we would then produce leaderboards for my clients to go in and hire. So these leaderboards uh, would look like this. Uh, we'll give them, how each participant performed, uh, and we'd also this is what you will see on the website for the world to see, but the leadership team is actually getting leaderboards that look like this. So you would be able to see on each topic how did the participants performed, what was the average, where did he or she stood, how many challenges were they able to participate in, and many other telemetric, which will be uh, uh, for each participant. This kind of a dashboard is generated. So we run this entire program for Microsoft across the globe. So for example, right now, this programming is being run for Ireland. So Microsoft is trying to hire almost 100 people in Ireland, and this program is being run for them for only Ireland. So these kind of programs are run by ASAC for multiple clients. Uh, for another client, for example, Barclays, we actually ended up creating a record for the biggest fintech hackathon in the world, wherein we booked the entire Bombay Stock Exchange in Mumbai for 3 days, and parallelly, this event was also happening in Manchester, in UK. So the number of teams and the number of people that participated in this event of ours ended up becoming the world's biggest. So I run these programs for many companies, wherein my courses are used to train their uh, their um, their employees when they want to hire, or for upskilling for their existing employees as well. Then, as I said earlier, that I run competitions. These are very large scale hackathons and programming competitions. We use these competitions for talent acquisition, skill development, team building, and rapid prototyping within these companies. And these are hackathons and competitions across various categories. So there are coding competitions, there are building competitions, robots, electronics. There are competitions for designers. There are competitions for researchers and scientists within these organizations. And there is an entire process on how these competitions are organized, what kind of criteria are applied, and through these competitions and a combination of the courses, my clients utilize these two things across various areas that they would like to use them. Then we also organize very large scale conventions. So the DEF CON in India happens through ASAC, where uh, other than companies like IBM and Google and Microsoft, even law enforcement agencies and defense agencies would also hire from these DEF CON conventions. I also organize DEF CON for developers, and these are also large scale conventions wherein people come and exchange their research papers, exchange their ideas, showcase their creativity, uh, discuss papers. There are fireside chat that happens in these conventions. There are speaker lineups, very interactive sessions that will happen. And again, these conventions are run for my clients to kind of identify talent or upskill their talent, or just showcase what they have been building. Um, we also conduct camps wherein we take we get investors, scientists, innovators, um, programmers, uh, to come together to discuss their work. And a lot of investments into startups also happen through uh, these camps and through these meetup events. And we organize these camps in very exotic locations. So we'll take them to Missouri, we'll take them to Goa, we'll take them to Singapore, we'll take them to very exotic locations, Sweden, Stockholm, and we organize these meetups over there. Then I organize a lot of. We have some lot of clubs running, like sci-fi clubs, uh, robotics club, electronics club. These are all communities that we are building, for people to stay engaged with each other, and help each other out whenever required. So there's a spirit of collaboration, there's a spirit of competition through these clubs. Then there are some very specialized programs that we run, like CODES. CODES is a program to promote women participation in entrepreneurship and technology. This is a women's only program where we train, we provide scholarship to women participants, and we help them hone their skills in hard skills like programming and robotics. And we put them through our mentor network, to kind of to help them interact with industry experts. um, and maybe some people would want to find jobs in companies like Microsoft or Google. Others may want to start their own startups. So we do whatever it takes to make their dream uh, possible. I also run an accelerator. ASAC has an accelerator called Accelerate, where we focus on 8 specific areas, and we invest, we identify startups, and ASAC itself invests in those startups. The startups that we identify have to go through a 4-month cohort. We organize 2 cohorts in a year, April through July, and then August through November every year. And startups apply to be a part of these cohorts. We put them through a very structured program, and this is what happens in that 4-month program. So there's application and selection, the pre-acceleration preparation. They go through a particular bootcamp program of ours. We connect them to mentors and other high net worth individuals who are a part of our network, and we invest $100,000 in the startup that qualify. So we put in $25,000 as soon as the startups are um, are uh, are accepted into the program, and if when they clear the program, we invest another $75,000 in them. A total of $100,000 goes into each startup for a exchange of 8% equity. Then we run these scholarships program wherein uh, students who cannot afford to uh, you know uh, people who are coming from an underprivileged background and do not have access to much finance, we then help they can't afford to pay this kind of a fees. We'll put them. We have some scholarship programs that uh, that helps them to participate in these programs even when there are financial constraint. The idea of this program is that education should be available to all, irrespective of what background they are coming from. So um, this is the gist of what ASAC does. So there are multiple channels that we engage to reach out to for encouraging people to participate in these competitions or these events. But it'll depend upon the nature of the event. So, for example, if there's a convention wherein Microsoft wants to invite uh, scientists and innovators from across the globe, we would utilize their database as well. Plus, we work with a lot of universities. ASAC has a program, Train the Trainer program, for with BITS Pilani Goa campus, with IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, and we work with a lot of universities. So we'll tap into our network. Through the accelerator, we have networks wherein there are many ultra high net worth individuals who are part of this fund. Now, these individuals run companies of their own. Some individuals are who are a part of the accelerator are CEOs and high profile, top management in many companies like Wipro, Tesco, Happiest Mind Technologies. So we'll contact their databases as well. So through our database of universities, our database of uh, other companies, uh, Microsoft's the client's database themselves, their affiliate partners, will reach out to all of them. The conversion rate works like this. So, for example, um, for the last Engage program for Microsoft, Microsoft needed 1,000 people to come into the last stage of the funnel. The top of the funnel was filled with 12,000 participants. So 12,000 participants filtered down to the last 1,000. So the conversion rate was almost 9%, 8 to 9%. But from 1,000, 400 were ultimately offered uh, jobs. The job offer was made to almost 650 to 700 people. Ultimately, there will be a lot of people who will not be able to take up the job offers because they may not like the salary given to them. They may not want to change their location. So ultimately, 400 from the event were ultimately placed at Microsoft in different locations. But the funnel started with almost 10,000 to 12,000 people. Now, this is quite standard. So across all our events, we have seen a conversion rate of anywhere between 7 to 10%. So the starting salaries this year for an AI position for their uh, Bing's product was in Indian rupees 60 lakhs per annum. A front end engineer position in Indian currency for a regular front end engineer started with 24 lakhs per annum Indian currency. So it was 24 lakhs at the lower bound, going up to 60 lakhs in the upper bound. There are special cases wherein if the program is being run for experienced levels. Now, Engage is especially for entry level engineers, but there are programs that are for uh, senior level programmers. That time the salary could be anywhere between 80 lakhs to it can go up to 1.5 crores as well. And the location also, the location is anywhere where Microsoft would want them to work out of. It could be the Bay Area in San Francisco, it could be Ireland, it could be India, it could be Singapore. The location also determines the salary. If a candidate is asked to change locations, his Singapore salary will in Indian currency would be very different than his same salary in, let's say, the Bay Area in California. If he's working out of India, the salary would be very different for the same position for the same number of years. but starting salary is around 24 lakh for entry level engineer. Uh, uh, for senior engineers who have 4 to 5 years of experience, uh, creme de la creme, uh, with very high level of expertise, it has also touched 1.5 in one of the years. So the community that we run is mostly run on Discord and Slack. Um, I'm not sure about the credentials, but okay, let me just. Yeah, so basically, what happens in a community is that everybody who engages with ASACer at any point in time, any touch point, courses, competitions, conventions, uh, at any point in time, they touch base with ASACer. We invite them to be a part of the community. And what this community does is, so we keep them engaged with information on new courses that are coming up. We keep them engaged with job postings. If any of our client has any requirement and they have approached ASACer, the information will be passed on to these communities. There are members in these communities who have been with us for 8 to 9 years, so they also act as mentors. There's an alumni network on these communities. So we ask people to, so for example, there's somebody on the community who is already a part of Microsoft or Google and working in that company for last 4 to 5 years. And now there's a fresh requirement for a job opening at Google. And there are applicants on the community. We ask the mentors who are already a part of Google to help these guys out, to tell them what is expected out of them in the interview, what kind of questions could Google ask, how should they respond. So these communities will try to help each other out. They will try to advance each other's careers. um, they would uh, uh, engage with each other. We just moderate. So I have moderators who ensure that there is decorum on the community, and we just encourage everybody to uh, you know uh, collaborate with each other and help them out with information. In our communities, a lot of times the students would organize events all on their own. And so, for example, the communities will organize robotics events or builder events or tinker events. And uh, all we do is we will ensure that they they are self-reliant in doing this. But whenever intervention is required, so for example, they can't afford a huge auditorium to showcase, we will then help them out at that point of time. So we will then organize auditorium for them, give it to them. We'll manage the security, the food, attendance, but we'll do whatever it takes for their event to be a huge success. Then the feedback from the event or learnings from the event are going to be posted back into the community. Uh, then the clubs, various clubs will engage in this community: the book clubs, the science clubs, the physics clubs, the robotics club, electronics club, programming club, chess club. They'll all get together and they'll run their own show. But when the moment they need financial help or they need management help, they need resources, they need judges to come and participate, they need CEOs of different industries to come and look at what they're doing, or to create or help with PR. uh, that time we will come in and we'll help them out, and we'll offer resources to them that they cannot themselves afford. Yeah, we tell them to please own their stuff with minimum intervention. Yeah, but yeah, will intervene when we think that something is not moving forward and it requires a push from us. Then we'll come in and we'll intervene. So I think the first thing, uh, usually, even for us, the thing that mostly gets started is talent identification and upskilling programs. So offering, so identifying learners who would like to make a career in STEM, and there are ways to identify them, but these are very unique methods that, when showcased to them, actually encourages their interest level. So for example, I would actually, what we do is we will organize these events for the learners, saying that, you want to learn, let's say, Python, or you want, tell us what would you like to do. Let's say somebody says, I want to become a mobile application developer or a full stack developer. Then we'll engage with the community. We'll tell them that the best way forward is for you to do this, and we will teach you these skills, but we'll teach you in a certain, in a manner that is extremely engaging. So let me talk using an exam as an example. Let me show you this. So basically, let's say, there are some learners who want to do a course in artificial intelligence. So the way this program is organized is that it's called Mission Mars. So this is a boot camp where we tell them that, let's all learn artificial intelligence and machine learning through an academic journey that we will take from Earth to Mars. So this, what happens in that journey. Uh, so you will be a part of the team that is selected to go to Mars, and you will have to learn skill set. You'll have to learn programming and concepts of AI, so that you can, when you are on the ship, for example, that's going from here to Mars, you have to develop programs to keep your crew and your team engaged while you're on the ship, because that journey is long and very boring. So you'll have to develop games like tic-tac-toe, and uh, uh, that can these are AI games that you can play with the crew member. When are when you land on Mars, then you have to set up a colony over there. So we learn concepts. We will apply these kind of games, uh, where you learn how, for example, the game of life itself works. So we'll teach them. You'll learn subjects and topics in AI to create simulations like these. Um, you will uh, you will have to set up a new colony on the planet. So you'll need to know how, for example, money works. So let's talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency, and how to program that on Ethereum, so that you'll have to set up a new financial system on a new planet itself. Then you have to have a legal system, because you're colonizing a new planet. So how can you create an application in that area? How does the community survive? So for example, uh, we have many apps in the current world which are used for food delivery, which are used for banking, which are used for many other areas. If you are setting up an entire new colony on a new planet, you'll need to know what goes into creating these apps, and how can AI and ML make it better. So we'll pick up a story like this to convey an entire topic which otherwise would have been very tedious to grasp. So these are some of the methods that we use, which kind of keep the students very engaged. The entire uh, concept being that, let's uh, conduct these courses in such a way that students, instead of when they get up in the morning, instead of thinking of an excuse to not go to the class, they should be so excited that they're extremely eager to run off from their homes and get into the classroom. So to make that happen, not only the teaching delivery style has to be unique, but the content has to be extremely engaging. On top of that, let's engage them with very interesting projects, competitions, exercises, and uh, make them ready, job ready. So that the moment they finish a particular course, they should know how to give an interview on that particular topic with any company that may be hiring those skill set. So we prepare them in the course itself for mock interviews, whiteboarding techniques, how impossible questions are presented to candidates during interview, how does Kobayashi Maru techniques work in interviews, how do they solve algorithmic mathematical puzzles. So this becomes a part of every course, no matter which course they join. So if they join a course on cybersecurity and cyber warfare, they will be taught how to prepare for cybersecurity interviews. If they join a course on Python, they will get to prepare. They'll know how to prepare for a Python interview. So basically, what happens is all of these courses, competitions, camps, clubs, all come together for that particular community. And then sometimes this has so a lot of times we have to customize this based on our audience. So the audience, so the age will what kind of age range are we talking about? Are these learners who are 18 to 24? So basically, are they in college? Are they looking for their first job? Or are they between the age group of 23 to 27? Are they looking for their second job? Age would be a criteria. Gender would be another criteria. If we can find local stories, so for example, one of the operations we run is in Kenya. We have picked up local stories from there and integrated them into our course. Uh, uh, so we also got to learn about some cultures in Africa, which we translated into some very engaging games. But that works only over there. It will not work for our batches in Singapore and India and in the US. So the local resources in that region will tap into their knowledge, and will create uh, a unique concept in games and in courses for that particular audience members, and they can relate to that much closely than a very generic concept. Uh, I figured out that I'm very good with writing code at a very early age. Uh, I was, I think, 11 years of age when I was just walking past a corridor in my school, and I saw uh, BBC micros, four BBC micros, four very redundant machines for the first time, and was running a ping pong game. And I was hooked. I just went into the lab and I started to read the manual. My school, I come from a very small town in India called Bhilai. It had didn't have good infrastructure, and there were no uh, teachers, computer science teachers in my school at that point of time. So these BBC micros that came into our school was a part of a donation program uh, uh, from BBC of UK. So they were donating computers to various schools in India, and they donated 4 computers to my school. But the moment I saw those machines, clicked, and I was hooked. Uh, I had to learn programming from the manuals which came with the machine. So I just opened up those boxes. I took my teacher's permission and said, can I just play? And my principal was kind enough to, give me the permission. So whenever I would find time, I would start uh, going into the lab and experimenting on my own. So my journey with code and my journey with programming started from there. But then teachers did came in, and but I had figured out that this comes very natural to me. It's almost like poetry. I don't have to uh, put in too much effort uh, to understand how bits and bytes move uh, inside the machine. But then after that, it was self-exploration journey. I don't had parents. I had foster parents uh, whose whose agreement with the state government was that they would sponsor my school education only till I finished school. So I didn't had any scholarship. I didn't have any funding for college. Uh, so the moment I finished school, I had to start working at the age of 17. Um, I joined a computer training institute in my town, um, and I became a part-time lab assistant and a part-time teacher. Uh, so I was training people who were twice my age uh, in programming. No, there was a lot of resistance, uh, but then I had to win over their confidence by just keeping quiet and just showing off my skills on the whiteboard,
Mm.
uh, and on the machine. So I would take in all that jokes and whatever is hurled at me, but within a few days, people will recognize that there's something to learn for me, and it'll all settle down all by its own. I did that job. I continued uh, doing that job for a few years. Um, but I thought I'm one of the luckiest people on the planet, because uh, all I ever wanted was computers and books uh, around me. And with no parents, no money, I found myself in a place where the moment I wake up, I have 20 computers around me and have access to the entire library. Uh, I
In
didn't
the
need
world.
anything more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that for 5 years. Then it was a very small place in many countries. There was not much scope for growth. So I then saw an ad in the newspaper one day for a company in Bangalore that was hiring through a competition. I applied. I participated in that competition. I aced that competition. So they sponsored my tickets and all. So I came to Bangalore. This was 25 years back. I worked with that company for it was a NASA subsidiary. They it's called ICS. They used to make interfaces for ISRO and for NASA. I worked uh, for with that company for 5 years. I learned Lisp while I was in that company. Lisp is a very sophisticated programming language used mostly for AI. So I got into AI at the time. AI was not a buzzword.
Mm.
Did pretty well. I then worked for two more companies after that. Then I started my first venture called ASEngage uh, with two friends of mine. The moment ASEngage became profitable after 4 years, I had a management buyout. So my friends bought my stake in the company. Uh, I kind of got good amount of money from there. I started my second company called Codecraft. It was into mobile uh, AI applications. Codecraft was acquired by Amazon. Uh,
Wow, mashallah.
yeah, after 4 years of operation, and that was the biggest ticket sale item in Bangalore in that year. So we were acquired for uh, uh, the deal that we got was a pretty good deal. So all my employees in Codecraft, we all had a very decent amount of money with us. So, and then ASAC was a dream. I always wanted to make sure. My dream has been that uh, the difficulty I faced in acquiring education, if I could help it, I don't want anybody else to go through that. So ASAC started with that goal to provide education to all, no matter their financial background, or we just want to solve as many issues as we can for learners to be able to get access to education and the best quality education possible on the planet. So with that goal, we started ASAC, and then we introduced these programs that attend the topics, but from a very different uh, manner. Storytelling for us is a very big deal. So we invest a lot of time, effort, money, and resources into coming up with content which are highly engaging. Uh, and we make our games. Let me show you that. So I'm just trying to pull up these games that we developed as a part of engaging people in our courses. Let me show some examples to you. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen with you. So let me know if you're able to see this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a part of that AI course I was talking to. Like people are going to, we are on a journey to Mars, and you have to write, you have to learn AI and ML to uh, translate your concepts that you're learning in the class into these kind of simulations, and there are hundreds of them. This is one wherein uh, once a student finishes a particular topic on HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then he has to make these games. So spaceship is going and finds asteroids on the way, and we have to navigate our way through these asteroids. So the students are actually taught how to create these games, how to create these simulations, and then they will go on to actually create simulations like this for each course. So yeah, so we come up with these ways in which the mind is completely engaged at all point of time, and the students feel happy about being in the class rather than feeling that is getting too monotonous or boring. It's not a lecture driven classroom. There is a special program that we run for Indian Defense Forces, and this has been used last year with JISEC in Dubai. They might go with us again for the upcoming JISEC that's happening next year. So basically, uh, in a program on cybersecurity and cyber warfare, we conduct a lot of events wherein, so these are called capture the flag events, uh, war games. So basically, these are all war games where simulations of cyber attacks and on nation-sponsored cyber attacks are created. And there are many challenges that are thrown in these events for participants and teams to solve. So the teams kind of use a platform of ours to take up these to participate in this in various competitions. So the more challenges they solve, the more points they earn, and the challenges become very difficult as they progress through the competition.
Yeah.
And these challenges can last for 1 day to 7 days. So, for example, in JISEC last year, their entire program was for 7 days. So the entire capture the flag ran for 7 days. But what made that program unique was that for the first time around the globe, there was one event which had quantum computing challenges. So you were asked to break codes, but not just any usual way. You were asked to break codes using quantum programs, and we tied up with IBM. Let me show you. IBM's quantum computers were utilized. Let me show this to you. So we used IBM quantum experience systems, which are these are the systems. So we tied up with IBM to deliver uh, uh, their quantum computers through a web interface for these programs for this competition. So the same catch the flag competitions, they were regular competitions, but it we were breaking encryption using even quantum computers. So this entire event ran for almost 7 days. But this is a very regular event for us in India. We continue to do this for Microsoft. We continue to do this for the CDS office. CDS is Chief of Defense Staff. Under him, all the forces in the Navy, Air Force, and Army, the CDS office kind of manages all of them.
Yeah.
So we work with the office of the CDS, and it's a regular process for us for identification of people who can go on to become cyber warriors for the nation. The talent identification happens through these programs. The CDS office will then select people who would want us to train. We'll train them for over a period of 4 months. They will go back, and then there's a hand-holding period of 3 months. What happens after 3 months, we don't have visibility in that. So how they utilize this program
And apply it in the
exactly. So this is on cybersecurity and cyber warfare, but also the way the entire program is uh, conducted is actually, it is not just teaching them cybersecurity uh, concepts. We actually use StuckNet as a case study. So StuckNet was the world's first and the most deadliest cyber weapon, which was developed by US and Israel to launch a strike against the Iranian nuclear facility in Natanz. So it crippled that entire nuclear facility. So it was the first incident in the world that where a piece of software brought down an entire physical infrastructure. So our program called the Diabolical Code, we teach concepts of cybersecurity and cyber warfare while reconstructing how to make this particular weapon. How does a payload looks like? What happens? How do you program this payload? How does a delivery system looks like? How do you program the delivery system? How does the command and control work? How do you actually make this entire weapon system So this entire course uses stucknet and as a use case to deliver uh, training in the art of cybersecurity and warfare. A very extensive course, uh, 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 level 4. I mean, almost 16 weeks, 8 hours a day. Yeah, for 5 days a week. It's a very intensive training, almost 1,000 hours of training. So on top of that, you have to engage in these programs. You have to engage in simulations, war games, hackathons. You have to do your projects. Yeah, so the certificates you get are ASAC certificates. It's very highly recognized. We have built up that brand value over 8 to 9 years now. Some programs are co-branded. So the certificate which Microsoft issues is co-branded. So you have Microsoft logo on top and ASAC powered by ASAC at the bottom. There are some programs that we run for Indian universities which are white labeled. So the programs would be conducted by us. The training will be imparted by us. The competitions will be conducted by us. But ultimately, the certificate will be issued with a BITS Pilani logo. It doesn't mention ASAC anywhere at all. So it's a mix. The certificates are a mix of just ASAC co-branded or completely white labeled.